Ladies and gentlemen of the world, I'm the face of Pod Home. Yeah, the original Pod Home himself. All right, and Pod Home's premise is the building of pod hotel style temporary homeless housing. Basically, what we're doing is we're taking this idea of the pod hotel, capsule hotel, whatever you want to call it, from Japan. We're dropping it right in the uh, most homeless prone regions. All right, we're talking literal Skid Row in Los Angeles, um, uh, wherever else. The first deck is social services, where you could get psychiatric help if you need it, or whatever other help you need, and very basic subsistence. Now, don't forget about vegan or vegetarian or whatever. It's what's there is what is there. That's it. And if what is there is packets of Mayday, which is a brand of emergency food, that's what's there. That's the way it is. Basic subsistence to help you get your feet back underneath you and get your life back. Now, pod home sounds uncomfortable. It sounds unpleasant. It is. That's part of the point. To make it so that you don't want to live here. You want to get out of this place and move on to someplace better. Your own home. All right. And not stay here forever. You're making a choice between a tent down by the freeway or this really unpleasant and uncomfortable place. People will say, oh, this sounds like jail. No, you're not free to walk out of jail. All right. If you're in there, you're in there, and that's it. This sounds like prison. No, again, you're actually free to leave anytime you want. All right. Basic, most basic requirements for survival. Really do want to point something out. I've been in the military, right? I know what a squad bay looks like. I know what a squad bay feels like. This is 1,000% better. All right. Hell, this is better than the conditions on the cutters that I was on. It's not going to be as nice as the stations that I was at. It's going to be better than the port security unit. The port security unit, it was literally cots in what had been the mess deck at one time. And it's a way off the streets. For those of you that look at this skeptically, I want you to consider something. Every single person who is homeless, A, is not paying taxes, all right? And B, is the reason you are paying taxes. One way or another, they're the reason you're paying taxes. You get them out of that environment and back into an environment where they can get their psychiatric treatment, get their job assistance, even if it's public works, even if it's general assistance, which is where the state of fill in the blank or county of fill in the blank gives you very basic subsistence, very, very small check that will pay for your housing and your food allowance for the month. And then you go down and pick up cigarette butts by the side of the road. And yes, I've been there and I've done that. I was homeless myself at one point. I want to tack on to this, though, a newer idea. The lighthouse. If you have a chronic and life-threatening medical condition, You walk into the doctor, you say, "Doctor, I've been feeling really run down for the last, 6, 8 months, and I don't know why." The doctor tests you and discovers you have diabetes, you have emphysema, you have something. They check that box, and checking that box in the medical system will automatically alert SSA, Social Security Administration. You now are qualified for Lighthouse services. Much like Pod Home, it's the very bare minimum, right? You will get in the mail your diabetes supplies or your bronchitis medicine or whatever it is, and that's it. It just comes. I'm actually modeling this very, very generally, but as close as I really can to what the VA actually does. So, if I'm comparing it to the VA, you got to take it for what it's worth. There's legends about the VA that are fully appropriate, but I've always gotten my medicine basically on time. For those of you that say this is social, universal healthcare, no. This is the bare minimums for the bare maximums, for the absolute maximums. You have a chronic, which means it will never go away, life-threatening, as in you will die unless this is treated, medical condition. I have a broken hand. Well, I broke my hand many years ago. This will never kill me, ever. It's causing me pain right now. Actually, it's causing me discomfort. It's never really caused pain. But it's causing me discomfort even as I'm sitting here recording this. It will never kill me. I also have PTSD. That will never kill me. Now, that might draw me to bad mental places, but that still doesn't qualify for a lighthouse. This is the absolute last safety net. And if you fall through this net, you will die. If you try to stay in the net like it's a hammock, you will probably die. I want to emphasize this. If you stay in a pod home long enough, you will die of depression or malnutrition or of, you know what? I forgot what the third one was. You will not make it 2 years. It's not going to happen. If you are a lighthouse candidate, you will not die of this thing, but if you don't try to deal with it, you will probably die eventually from something related to it. Like I said, this is I'm viewing this more like I use a ambulance analogy. You can have the world's best medical doctor, surgeon in the particular thing that has you in the back of that ambulance. He's not going to cure the problem. He may save your life on the way to the hospital. But it's not done yet. It's not even close to done yet. You still have to follow up and do the other things towards your treatment or towards improving your life. I want to point some interesting things out. First of all, under Pod Home, and this is black letter, I know because I wrote this. You have to be out of your pod for 6 hours a day. I base this literally on the idea that if you're not out of your pod at least 6 hours a day, you are going to die in that pod and nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to be aware. And it could be 2 weeks before anybody does become aware. You don't want to be there when they find your body, do you? And in my idea, there's actually a little computer screen that says, pod A11 or pod 11 or pod, what is it, 1/1 has been closed for 24 hours now. That triggers an alarm that somebody goes up to check on you. And now, a different side of this story. I lost my daughter to a combination of mental illness and type 1 diabetes. About 10 feet from here is where she was found one morning, dead. We were trying to get her help, and it wasn't working because nobody could take her seriously. We knew there was a problem. We said there is a problem. And they didn't listen because, it's just diabetes. It's just DKA. We can treat this. This isn't a problem. Well, she's dead now. We begged them for the 2 things that she needed to stay alive. We actually, and I remember it was me and her grandfather were in with the doctor begging him to prescribe for her the insulin pods that she needed, and the Dex, which is blood glucose monitoring. The Dex, that's not a problem. We got you there. Well, we got 1 month's supply, and we never got anything else. And we have never gotten the pod. We're not even finished cleaning up the mess. My daughter was so messy. She's got clothes and trash everywhere. And empty soda bottles, which stopped when she was having a low. Soda was an appropriate response. Fortunately, she was typically having a high. Getting needles wasn't even a problem, but her mental issues prevented her from being able to get the correct dose of insulin because her brain could not do the 2 + 2 parts correctly. The pod, the Omnipod, the insulin pod, plus the Dex would have taken care of that automatically. This is a bare minimums. If we can't do this for the least of us, how can we do anything for the greatest of us? Thank you.